Well, good morning, class of 2017. It is an honor to be back in the state of Texas to celebrate with you all today. I was not raised in the South, and when I asked some of my Texan friends to give feedback on my speech, they told me it could be dramatically improved by increasing my use of the word y'all. Unfortunately, a charming Southern accent was not something I took away from my time at ACU. However, I consider myself very blessed to have called Abilene home while a student here, and it is a true honor to be back in the city, and I'm overwhelmed just by the generosity and the hospitality that I find in this place. So I'm delighted to be back. This is my first time since I sat in this auditorium at my graduation nearly 5 years ago. I would like to start by congratulating each one of you. I know well the hard work that goes into receiving a degree from ACU. And today is a testament to years of dedication and sacrifice. It is also a testament to the support of your families and your friends, and I'd like to congratulate your guests here today as well for traveling this journey with you. Shortly after I graduated from ACU, I moved to England to pursue graduate degrees in policy and business. And as a result, I am no stranger to the period of transition that accompanies the completion of a degree. At each juncture, a million questions were running through my mind, keeping me up late at night. What am I supposed to do with the rest of my life? What if I choose the wrong thing? The wrong job, the wrong master's program, the wrong country to live in? What if I'm not good at what I do next? Well, all of you in this room are headed in different directions. Today, you are each at a point of transition. Some of you may be going on to pursue your first jobs, others to do more studying, and some may still be figuring out their next step. Commencement offers each one of you the opportunity to reflect, to think about your values, your goals and ambitions, the purpose that you have for your life. And while you may not be asking yourself the exact same questions that I was, I'd like to encourage you today with two things that have guided me through similar recent transitions in my own life. The first, you are ready. The second, uncertainty is okay. When I came to ACU, I had a very specific purpose in mind for my life, a problem that I wanted to solve more than anything else in the world. Despite my unwavering confidence in my calling, however, I had resigned myself to a belief that for as long as I was a student, I was not prepared to tackle this challenge. Before my senior year of high school, I spent a summer volunteering with a church in Eastern Europe. While there, I met a woman from the congregation who was running an organization that helps protect and support girls being trafficked in Europe. At the time, I had never heard of human trafficking, at least in any modern context. And the woman running the organization invited my team to meet the girl she was working with and learn more about the issue. When we were there, she explained to me that these girls, many of whom were about my age at the time, 17, had been forced into prostitution. As I listened to their stories, I was unsettled in a way that I had never been before, both to realize that exploitation like this exists in the world, and also to realize that there appeared to be comparatively little being done to address it. I couldn't get the experience out of my mind and spent that year before college continuously researching human trafficking. After discovering how pervasive this problem is and continues to be, with upwards of 600,000 people trafficked in the US and around the world every year, I decided that I would dedicate my education to learning more and developing a skill set that would allow me to take on this problem. At the time, the only way I knew how to address a crime of this scale was to become a lawyer, and so that's what I set out to do when I came to ACU. During my first semester here, however, one of my professors asked me a question that radically changed how I thought about both my calling to pursue this problem of trafficking, as well as just more generally how I think about making change in the world. Her question was simple. She asked me, Brittany, what are you doing right now to address trafficking, to help support these girls that you care so much about? At first, I didn't know how to respond to her question. I thought it was fairly obvious that I wasn't quite qualified to do very much at that point in time. What could I, a teenager at the time, possibly do to tackle this global issue? I had no credentials beyond a high school degree, no experience apart from a few months spent abroad and some online researching. And more importantly, I didn't really have a strategy other than to go to law school someday. And then I realized I was focused on my perceived limitations. My professor, however, was asking me to step into my potential. That professor then went on to tell me about Eternal Threads, which is an organization based here in Abilene that supports sustainable livelihoods for women, many of whom have been affected by trafficking. She encouraged me to start volunteering with them, and within a few months of doing so, I had co-founded what went on to become the Red Thread Movement, which is an initiative of Eternal Threads that focuses on human trafficking. Red Thread was inspired initially by my own lack of awareness of trafficking, as well as uncertainty about how to make an impact on this issue. During my time at ACU, the Red Thread team created a grassroots network of hundreds of musicians and campus groups across the US and around the world. And this network mobilized around 70,000 supporters, both to raise awareness for human trafficking as well as funds to combat this problem. I tell you this story to emphasize the point. Do not let fear or lack of confidence in your abilities prevent you from pursuing your goals. You are ready. Being ready doesn't necessarily mean that what you do will be easy or that you will meet all of your goals right away. Indeed, there is still much to be done on the issue of trafficking. But you are ready to take the first step in pursuing the goals and the purpose that you have for your life. The second point that has guided me through transition is the importance of accepting and even embracing uncertainty. Uncertainty can be very uncomfortable, and it is tempting to avoid it by pursuing plans that we feel are safe or readily available, plans that allow us to feel like we're in control. Well, these aren't necessarily bad things. When we make decisions driven by fear, these decisions often get in the way of much greater opportunity. When I sat in this auditorium at my own graduation, I had less certainty about what I wanted to do with the rest of my life than when I came in as a freshman, which is very disconcerting for a type A personality. This uncertainty was not the result of lack of planning. Rather, I realized while at ACU that there is more than one path to achieving the purpose and goals that we have for our lives. In fact, there are nearly infinite numbers of paths. And changing course because you discover that the path you're on no longer makes sense or you found one that you like even better is okay. Pursuing my early dream of becoming a lawyer would have been a very safe bet. I had taken the LSAT early, been visiting law school since I was a sophomore, was very comfortable with the idea of more school. However, once I actually sat down and envisioned my life as a lawyer, which I did not do until my senior year, I realized I didn't actually want to practice or necessarily apply the law for the rest of my life. So in what some might call the 11th hour of my time at ACU, I chose uncertainty and took a radically different path to London. 3 degrees later, I am still no closer to becoming a lawyer, and it is increasingly unlikely that I ever will be. But I now look upon and embrace uncertainty as part of a learning and exploration process. And so my challenge to you over your lifetimes is this. Never stop reflecting on and refining what you do. Don't be afraid to consider and pursue plans that differ from those you have today. Be open to new ideas, to new paths, to new opportunities. They will present themselves, and the more that you're willing to embrace them, the more that you'll be able to pursue them as well. In closing, today is a time to celebrate achievement. You should be incredibly proud of what you have accomplished. Your graduation marks the summation of years of studying, years of challenging yourself to learn new concepts, engage tough problems, some that you've solved, some that you'll continue to wrestle with. Beyond being proud of your success as a student at ACU, however, today is also a time to be excited about what you will go on to achieve. I now work in the global development space, and as part of my job, I help create strategies to help improve the lives of those who have the fewest access to resources. Things that we might consider basic resources, water, bank accounts, common vaccines, to name a few. Many people in the world also do not have access to a high-quality education. In fact, less than 10% of the world's population hold college degrees. While I don't believe a diploma is required for success, by graduating from college, we are some of the most privileged people in the world today. With your ACU education, you have the potential to pursue fulfilling careers, to sit in seats of power, to influence how decisions are made. And this is not something to take lightly. We have been blessed with the resources to shape the future of the world that we live in. And it is our collective responsibility to take the values that ACU has bestowed upon us and be a blessing beyond this campus. Commencement, which means beginning, is not the end of your journey. Rather, it's the start. And I wish you the very best on that journey. Remember, as you transition, you are ready, and uncertainty is okay. Thank you, and congratulations, class of 2017.